Hi and good day everyone. My name is Major Olga and today we'll be presenting Functional Behavior Assessment and ABA Intervention Plan for a child experiencing bedtime refusal behavior. Let's begin with the introduction of the case. This case involves a family with two children. The parents are Bryce and Jane Bullard. The youngest child, Rylan, is 2 years old. The main concern is that Rylan was difficulty following a bedtime routine or can fall asleep. Every night, he cries, calls for his parents, and refuses to sleep independently. This behavior creates a stress for a family and interrupts a consistent bedtime routine. Therefore, it is important to understand why this behavior occurs before deciding on the most appropriate intervention. Next, I will explain the target behavior. The problem behavior identified is bedtime refusal behavior. This behavior can be clearly observed through several actions. Rylan cries after being placed in bed, repeatedly calls for his parents, refuses to stay in bed, delayed going to sleep, and constantly seeks adult attention. This behavior happens consistently during bedtime and interferes with the child's ability to sleep independently. Since this behavior can be directly observed and measured, they are appropriate targets for behavioral intervention. Now, let us look at the operational definition of the behavior. Bedtime refusal is defined as any instance where Rylan cries, protests, leaves his sleeping area, or repeatedly calls for his parents after being placed in the bed. To measure the behavior accurately, 3 methods are used. The first is frequency recording, which counts how many times the behavior occurs. The second is duration recording, which measures how long the behavior lasts. And the third one is ABC recording with enzyme, the event before, during, and after the behavior. This measurement provides objective information for understanding the behavior. Next is the Functional Behavior Assessment or FBA. Functional Behavior Assessment is a systematic process used to identify why the behavior occurs. Rather than focusing only on the behavior itself, FBA examines what happened before the behavior, what the child does, and what happened immediately afterwards. It also identifies the function or the purpose of the behavior. There are 4 common behavioral functions: attention, escape, tangible, and sensory seeking. Understanding the behavioral function helps us choose intervention that directly address to the child's needs. The next slide explains the ABC analysis. ABC stands for antecedents, behavior, and consequence. In this case, the antecedents were when the parents leave the room after completing the bedtime routine. The behavior is that Rylan cries and refuses to sleep. The consequence is that the parents return to comfort or reassure him. As a result, Rylan receives attention from his parents. Because of the consequence follow the crying behavior, it unintentionally reinforce the behavior, making it more likely to happen again in the future. The behavior pattern clearly shows this cycle. The parents leave, the child cries, the parent returns, and the child receives attention, and the behavior continues. This repeated sequence suggests that the behavior is maintained through reinforcement. Based on this analysis, the primary behavioral function is attention seeking. Rylan cries because he receives comfort, reassurance, and interaction from his parents whenever they return to his room. The secondary function is escape, trying to allow him to delay bedtime and avoid sleeping independently. Therefore, both attention and escape contributes to maintaining the behavior, although attention appears to be strongest function. From the functional behavior assessment, we can develop a behavior hypothesis. The hypothesis states that when Rylan is placed in bed and his parents leave the room, he cries because crying allowing to gain parental attention and delay sleeping independently. This hypothesis connects the antecedents, behavior, consequence, and behavioral function. It also guides the selection of appropriate intervention. Next are a SMART goal for intervention. The intervention is planned over 8 weeks. The first goal is to reduce the number of crying times during bedtime. The second goal is to increase her ability to sleep independently. The third goal is to improve the consistency and predictability of the bedtime routine. Progress will be measured using frequency recording, duration recording, and parent checklists to ensure that intervention is effective. Now, I will explain the ABA intervention strategies. The first strategy is positive reinforcement. Whenever Rylan demonstrates appropriate bedtime behavior, such as staying in bed or falling asleep independently, he receives praise, encouragement, or rewards. Positive reinforcement increases the likelihood that the desired behavior will happen again. The second strategy is gradual withdrawal. Instead of leaving the room immediately, parents slowly reduce their presence over time. For example, they may first sit behind the bed, then gradually move away until Rylan is comfortable sleeping independently. The third strategy is functional communication training or FCT. This teaches Rylan more appropriate way to communicate his needs. Instead of crying, he can learn to request a hug, ask for help, or say goodnight appropriately. The fourth strategy is differential reinforcement. This means reinforcing only appropriate behavior while not reinforcing the bedtime refusal behavior. As a result, positive behavior becomes stronger over time. The reinforcement plan is also an important part of the intervention. For example, if Rylan stays in bed, he receives verbal praise. If he completes the bedtime routine successfully, he earns a sticker. If he sleeps independently, he receives a special activity or rewards of the following days. This reward motivated him to continue display appropriate bedtime behavior. Next is the monitoring system. To determine whether the intervention is working, data will be collected regularly using frequency recording, duration recording, and behavior checklists. For example, before the intervention, Rylan may cry at times during bedtime. After consistent implementation of the intervention, this may decrease to only one crying episode. Collecting data allows parents and professionals to monitor the process objectively and make adjustments if necessary. The next slide explains how we evaluate success. The intervention is considered successful when Rylan remains in bed during leaving his sleeping area, crying decreases significantly, parents respond consistently to the behavior, and bedtime becomes more predictable and less stressful for the family. Consistency from caregivers is essential because inconsistent responses may accidentally reinforce the unwanted behavior. Finally, I would like to conclude my presentation. This case demonstrates that every behavior serves a purpose. Functional behavior assessment helps us identify the reason behind the behavior instead of simply reacting to it. Once the behavior function is identified, ABA provides evidence-based strategies that effectively reduce problem behavior and teach more appropriate alternatives. More importantly, consistent implementation by parents is the key to achieve positive long-term outcomes. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope this presentation helped you understand how functional behavior assessment and ABA intervention can be applied to address bedtime refusal behavior. Thank you and have a wonderful day.